Straight ahead on 12 News, a Golden Valley company teaching a delicate balancing act.
So now we've just kind of made the bunny hill for log rolling.
The business that's become very popular and created quite a splash. Plus, how to attract the next generation of outdoorsmen.
We've got to do something to preserve the heritage of hunting and angling.
But first, the great Minnesota get-together and a neighborhood parking conundrum. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. Brooklyn Park Park and Ride has become a very popular spot to catch a bus to the state fair.
But as Eric Nelson found out, it has also caused some challenges for the nearby neighborhood.
This Brooklyn Park neighborhood is usually a peaceful place, but the tranquility turned into controlled chaos last week.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Louisiana Avenue and other streets became parking lots because the nearby Botno ramp, which runs express buses to the state fair, was jammed.
We called 911 non-emergency to ask if we could get some traffic police to direct traffic, because they were clogging up the road and honking at one another.
Trying to get in and out of my home was difficult at best.
The Botno ramp has a capacity of 565 parking spaces, which is not nearly enough, and forced fair fanatics onto nearby surface streets.
The parking was on both sides, and it was kind of a mad scenario. We had to reroute and go around and come in from a different direction, trying to get home in the afternoon.
On Friday, Brooklyn Park Police put up no parking signs in parts of the area to try and fix the mess.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it was nuts. It was crazy.
I saw a lot of people actually pulling up on curbs.
We had some people parking in front of the mailboxes, parking in front of the hydrant, that kind of thing.
The parking restrictions worked, and the gridlock has vanished. Even on a Monday, a so-called work day, the Botno ramp is a popular spot. By noon, it was full. That's the exact opposite of most days, when the ramp is half empty.
It is very underutilized during the rest of the year.
I don't know where everybody's going now that they blocked some of the parking, but this is much better.
In Brooklyn Park, I'm Eric Nelson, Channel 12 News.
In Brooklyn Park Monday morning, anxious back-to-school nerves were rattled even more for about a dozen students. The exterior of their school bus caught fire near 73rd and Zane Avenues. Flames were visible when firefighters arrived. The bus driver had gotten everybody off and nobody was injured. The fire started near the rear brakes, though the cause remains under investigation.
A dispute between two friends over money led to one Maple Grove man's death and another facing substantial prison time. 21-year-old Sean Amina was found fatally stabbed in a car Thursday evening near the U of M campus. According to the complaint, Mina and 23-year-old Brandon Bachhoven were riding together when Bachhoven pulled out a knife and stabbed Mina twice. The complaint says the two were arguing over money apparently owed to Bachhoven for some auto parts.
Local police are warning pet owners about rat poison after it was linked to one dog's death and another becoming sick. On Saturday, a pet owner in Robbinsdale discovered his dog was sick after eating what looked like a dog biscuit. The owner took the dog to the vet, and that's when it was confirmed that the dog had ingested rat poison. Police looked into the incident and don't believe it was suspicious.
It's the time of year when a lot of people are dealing with rodent issues and rabbit issues, and a lot of people are sprinkling these poison pellets around their yards or the entrances to their garages, and it's very likely that another animal or a squirrel may have picked it up and then dropped it when they were running between the yards.
In Crystal, a dog was put to sleep after eating rat poison, and police are encouraging pet owners to check their yards before letting their dogs outside. Now to something on the decline in Minnesota, the number of hunters and anglers.
As Emily Ragoose reports, it's why the DNR is trying to invest in people who have never hunted before.
Camping? Check. Fishing? Check. Hiking? Check. But there's always been one outdoor sport missing for Greg Liefeld.
Nobody in my family hunted, and so I didn't hunt.
So without someone to show him how, it was always just a dream.
I'd always been interested in specifically white-tailed deer hunting, just with the history it has in Minnesota, and also the interest in kind of providing that fresh local meat source for myself and my family.
The Minnesota Department of Natural Resources says that Greg's story is really a trend for many families.
We've got to do something to preserve the heritage of hunting and angling, trapping and target sport shooting in this state as well as in the country over the next 10 years.
3 years ago, the DNR started the Adult Learn to Deer Hunt program.
When we've offered these programs, we've found a lot of interest. We've had people, always enough applicants to fill the spots available.
Participants are paired up with a mentor, take multiple classes, and get their firearm safety certification. But the most exciting part for Greg?
And it all culminated with a weekend hunt at St. Croix State Park.
Mark Norquist was Greg's mentor.
And hunting and fishing has been a passion of mine. And I've seen some declining numbers and wanted to figure out how I could help turn that around, bring more people in.
The DNR says hunting and fishing is vital to the state's conservation efforts, making up 70 to 80% of funding. And with baby boomers being the largest population in the sport, there's fear where that funding will come from in the future.
Eventually, they're going to age out of the sport just from hitting a certain age. And the question for Minnesota as well for the rest of the country is who is backfilling them? Who is coming in behind them? And right now, we're seeing that there's a fairly large hole there.
The hope is by having hunting classes for not only kids, but adults, it can be a passion once again passed down through families. Emily Ragoose, 12 News.
There is also a class offered by the DNR to learn how to hunt turkeys.
Well, they're hoping they'll never have to use it, but freshmen at the Breck school now know how to do CPR in case of an emergency. The Golden Valley Fire Department was there to teach the students. They also heard from Amy Hallstrom. Her daughter's life was saved with the help of CPR and an AED after she didn't have a pulse for half an hour. Firefighters encourage everyone to know CPR.
You've got so many more students than teachers, so if someone were to suffer from sudden cardiac arrest, it's much more likely that a student is going to know and see that person first than a teacher.
The firefighters say each year 400,000 people suffer from sudden cardiac arrest. Coming up, meet a Brooklyn Park business owner who has provided himself a nice cushion into retirement.
And then later in sports, we will preview the Cooper Hawks in today's training camp report.
But first, cooler and drier. Tuesday will bring sun and 70s. Well, today we offer a little different perspective on owning a small business.
In this week's Business Matters, a look at a Brooklyn Park business owner's unique effort to retire. Mike Sanko has always enjoyed the variety and challenge as a small business owner of Minnesota Foam and Upholstery.
It's been a good line of work because we do so many different things. It isn't the same old boring thing every day. You go in and you sit at a desk and you punch keys.
For 39 years, Sanko and his small staff have stuffed cushions, made mattresses, and helped reupholster furniture.
A lot of it is fun. You know, we get to do something different just about every day.
But with any small business, there comes a time when the owner is ready to retire and must decide how.
It's not like working for one of the big companies where they're going to give you a pension and everything else. I only have what I did while I was working.
Mike Sanko turns 72 years old next week, and he and longtime employee, 68-year-old James Stelflug, are both ready to retire.
Yes, I told Mike when he decided to sell the business that I would stay till the last day.
The desire to retire and the search to find a business buyer is why this sign sits prominently outside, right along County Road 81.
My realtor came up with this idea, and he thought that might be something a little novel.
So far, the sign has caught people's attention and sparked conversations, but no buyers. Sanko knows the industry has changed. In a buy-new society, there's less demand for repairs.
In the city here, there's only a couple of us really doing foam anymore.
Sanko owns the building, and he understands it could get sold and turned into something else. But he holds out hope that maybe this building and business can live on in someone else's hands.
It's been my baby. I built it from the ground up. Everything is hooked up in here. Everything is set for good production.
Coming up, how a Golden Valley company has made an old sport new again.
But first, some of the state's top volleyball teams, including the Champlin Park Rebels, compete at the big Sideout Classic. Jay Wilcox is in next.
It's an early season event that features many teams you may see at the State High School Volleyball Tournament. The Breakdown Sideout Classic at the Lindbergh Center featured a number of local teams. That includes Champlin Park as they faced Minnetonka. First set, Champlin Park sophomore Emma Schmidt hammers it down for an 8-3 Rebels lead. The set coming up to Sydney Hilly, and her cross-court hit is good for the point. On set point, the Rebels work the slide play, and Maria Claflin puts it down for a 25-15 Champlin Park win. In set two, Tonka's Skylar German with a nice kill between the blockers here. Hilly answers, breaking a 12-all tie with a big kill for Champlin Park. Then Schmidt comes through again, putting Champlin Park on its way to a 25-18 win in set two. The Skippers are in control, though, early in set three. Caitlin Lannon gets the kill over the defense for a 12-8 lead. But the Rebels come back. The slide play again to Claflin. She puts the shot down the line, tying it at 17. Then on match point, Caitlin Weimerskirch's serve gets down. The Rebels win the set 25-21 for the sweep. Also at the Sideout Classic, Osseo loses a close one in 5 sets to Rochester Mayo. Maple Grove rolls to a 3-0 win over Chanhassen. Paige Hinsey led a balanced attack with 11 kills for the Crimson. Hopkins prevailed in 5 over small school power Tracy Milroy Ballatin. Heritage Christian Academy was 3rd in the state tournament last season in Class A, but they fall in 3 to a strong Kenyan Wanamingo squad. The prep football season kicks off Thursday and Friday this week in the area. One team had a little dress rehearsal.
I love seeing the orange and black. I love seeing the parents, coaches looking good, dressed up tonight, okay? This is about community tonight.
New Osseo coach Ryan Stockhouse and his staff brought together all levels of the high school program along with youth football players as they went through a warm-up and some short scrimmages. The high school players were paired with youth players for their drills. It's a good way to bring the Osseo football community together.
This is a big night for the community. This is a big night to be an Osseo Oriole. I mean, anytime that we can get the youth organization together with our high school program, show the youth kind of what it looks like, give them a little glimpse of the future, and then just allow our guys to intermingle and the families to come together.
And you can watch the big Osseo-Maple Grove clash live on Channel 12 and 799 and our website 12.tv Thursday night at 7 o'clock from Maple Grove High School. The Cooper football team will look for new playmakers to step up this fall, but the Hawks will be bolstered by a veteran group of linemen. Here's Jason Malillo with today's training camp report.
Cooper seniors Will Wright, Tony Madison, and Erica Boje have started on the offensive and defensive line since their sophomore year, and that experience together could give the Hawks an advantage.
The expectation is they've got that leadership. We want that leadership to kind of spill over to other positions on the offense as well as the defense.
We just had this bond and we're just such in sync where we see everything from different positions, and we can all play the same position. So we're all able to communicate on the field, even off the field.
Behind the big boys on the line will be junior quarterback Cameron King and senior running back C.J. Adams. Adams rushed for over 350 yards and scored 5 touchdowns last year.
With C.J. and the other backs behind us, we trust them 100%. We know that they're gonna, if we make a hole, they're going through. That makes us work harder. They respect us, we respect them.
It gives us kind of more fuel, and it gives us more want to get that extra drive to see CJ or Nas or any of them just, make them do their own work and get them downfield.
Out wide, King will have 2 good targets in Jordan Brown and Phoenix Sproles. Brown caught 6 touchdown passes last season, and Sproles will play both ways, bolstering the defensive backfield.
We have a lot of good corners. Our safeties, we're filling up in the safeties, especially with our DBs. I feel really confident with all our safeties and our corners, especially our D-line. And our linebackers, oh yeah, we're coming.
Cooper football has found steady improvement and consistency under the tutelage of Willie Howard and his coaching staff. The seniors on this year's squad want to continue that trend by being their best on every game night and hopefully making a deep postseason run.
We need to break this curse, is what we say. We need to, make changes, and that's the next step, is to get deeper into the sections and hopefully a state tournament.
Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
The Hawks were 6-3 last year. Willie Howard starts his 7th year at the helm. 7 starters are back on offense, 6 on defense, and Cooper opens the season Thursday night at Bloomington Jefferson. So they have a chance to be a pretty good football team. And some of those big names lost, but they'll be still pretty good.
All right, we'll be watching. Thanks a lot, Jay.
You're welcome.
Still ahead, a balancing act that can help work off a few state fair calories.
The fair's new workout treat when we come back. Well, finally, a Golden Valley business is catching a lot of people off balance at the state fair.
And as a result, many fairgoers are getting soaked. Sonia Goins explains.
People know about log rolling. You know, the #1 thing we hear is this is addicting.
Abby Heschler is a world champion log roller.
There's really no other sport that I can think of where you move your feet so quickly, and so they just have to get used to taking small little steps. It's like a treadmill that moves forwards and backwards, and you don't necessarily know when it's going to change direction.
She's also president of Key Log Rolling, which started in 2012 and has grown into a worldwide enterprise.
In 47 states across the country, we're in 7 countries now.
Abby says anyone can learn the sport.
Have you ever tried log rolling before, young man? No. Wow, you're pretty natural at this.
Fast, fun, and fundamentally challenging is how some people describe log rolling.
It's really a universal sport that the fun of trying to balance on a log in the water is for everyone.
Fairgoers weren't afraid to take the plunge.
Well, it was my first time, so it was kind of hard.
But Key Log makes things easy. The log is synthetic.
I like squishing my feet.
And the yellow devices you see on the log are called trainers.
We've flattened the learning curve with these trainers that slow and stabilize it. They're the yellow kind of paddle wheel looking things.
These women have been competing against each other since they were young.
4-time world champion log roller Jenny Atkinson and Abby showed the crowd how it's done.
Jenny and I are in what's called a running match, so we're both facing the same direction.
Tips from the pros: keep your knees bent and use your arms for balance.
And then the footwork is just super fast, small feet.
As fairgoers take a spin on a log, Abby is hoping they enjoy it and try it out long term.
It's cool to see everyone really learning this historic American sport and bringing it to the 21st century.
At the fair, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
And this is Key Log Rolling, their company's first appearance at the fair. They make it look easy. Of course it's not, but it's fun.
But it's hot enough. A dump in the pool wouldn't be all bad.
Wouldn't be so bad, that's right.
We'll see you again tomorrow, everyone.